Shalom, friends. Welcome back to Shmu's Views, where Torah meets reality past, present, and maybe even a little sci-fi. This week, we're plunging into Parshat Chukat, Numbers chapters 19 through 22. On the surface, it's a whirlwind of laws, death, rebellion, and a lead-up to a talking donkey. But underneath, it's one of the most paradoxical and philosophical sections in the Torah. We're entering the desert of mystery, where logic goes to die and meaning is hidden in ashes. We'll examine this parsha by breaking it down into 5 sections. The first is the most mysterious and to this day is still not fully appreciated or understood, and that is the red heifer, which, when closely examined, is a paradox in purity and is referred to as the laws of the para adumah, or the instructions concerning the red heifer. In Rabbi speak, these particular laws are known as chok, or a decree with no rational explanation. We have a few of those in Torah, not many, but a few. Most of these are given great space for debate and discussion throughout the Talmud and even the Midrash, but the Torah simply gives the commandment without Hashem giving any clear reason as to why they were issued. The para aduma purifies the impure, but makes the pure impure? That's peak Torah mystery. Some of our sages of blessed memory had their own views pertaining to this and other seemingly irrational statements or mitzvot given in Torah. For example, Rashi put it simply, only Hashem understands this one. The Rambam was a bit more pragmatic when he stated that Chukim test our obedience, in other words, faith over logic. Some Kabbalists over the centuries have declared that the ashes of the red heifer represent death itself being transformed into a tool for life. Section 2 of this parsha gets quite emotional with the telling of the death of Aaron and Miriam. This touches the heart of Moshe. He has, after all, lost the 2 closest relatives, his brother and sister, both his elders by age, but not in wisdom or obedience to Hashem, but still close family. Miriam's death is mentioned just before the people run out of water in Numbers chapter 20 and verse 1. According to Midrash, her merit brought the well. When she died, it dried up. Reflecting on her life, we are moved to ask, what do we take for granted until it's gone? Aaron's death is marked with public mourning of the whole house of Israel. I find the parallel between the death of Aaron and the later passing of Moshe to be quite ironic. Moshe's death doesn't get such a send-off in the same way as his elder brother, but does beg the question, what happens when the spiritual pillars of a generation fall? The third section of this parsha deals with Moshe's only real moment of disobedience. Moshe hits the rock instead of just speaking to it as commanded by Hashem. For some, this one-time lack of trust in the words of Hashem may seem a bit trivial. It's not like Moshe was outright rebelling against Source as some, like Dathan or Korach, had so blatantly done. He hit instead of speaking, but this one act from the hand-picked leader leads to his eventual forbidden entrance into the Promised Land. Seems harsh. What do you think? Comment below. Again, we must look to the sages of the past to try and get an understanding of this seemingly unfair act on the part of Hashem. Rashi says it had to happen because Moshe showed a lack of sanctifying Hashem publicly in front of all the tribes of Israel. The Rambam basically says, using our modern vernacular, that Moshe basically failed his anger management course, and Rav Hirsch called it leadership disconnect. Whatever the reason, I think it can be best summed up with the reality that even great leaders have blind spots. The higher you are, the harder the standard and the harder the fall. On a personal note, sometimes what disqualifies us isn't sin, it's timing, energy, or public perception. Section 4 is another weird moment in Torah. The episode with the bronze serpent, or what I like to call healing in strangeness. We find in Numbers chapter 21 that the people are up to their old kvetching habits. People complain again, then serpents attack, people die, yada yada yada. Will we ever learn? The cure is just as weird as the cause of their affliction. Source tells Moshe to make a bronze serpent, stick it on a pole so all can see it so that whoever looks at it will live. According to Midrash, it's not the snake, it's the looking upward to Source that actually heals. This has both psychological and spiritual ramifications. Acknowledging our brokenness is the first step to repair. How about that? The foundation for AA's 12-step program was in the 3,400-year-old Torah all along. Before you can heal the problem, one must honestly admit to themselves and the world they have the problem. Like I said, strange ritual, strange cure. Do you sense a pattern here? The fifth and final section of this parsha is actually a teaser for next week's parsha, Donkeys and Diplomacy. We are given a foreshadowing of Balak and Balaam. We will end this episode with Israel nearing Moab, setting the stage for curses and talking animals. Parshat Chukat shows us that not everything spiritual will ever make sense, and that's okay. Sometimes the most sacred things are the most paradoxical. We face death, grief, loss, frustration, and absurdity. And still, we journey forward. Next week's parsha is titled Balak, and opens up another world of prophets for hire, divine humor, and a talking donkey with better vision than its rider, who is supposed to have the vision of a prophet. Go figure. Thank you for watching this video or reading the Substack or Blogger. Please like, subscribe, and share. All my videos and essays can be found on Rumble, Locals, YouTube, Substack, and Blogger. Links for these are in the description of this video. I'd like to leave you with one reflective question. What are your red heifers? The things that make no sense but might still be holy. Until next time, this is Shmuel ben Shlomi wishing you a Shabbat Shalom.